some Morgana, and I was like, hang on, are we going to get lethality virus in this bottom lane? But Gala and Mark have been ye old faithful here for DMO, while the top side has been changing in Xiao Wei, Xie, Bless, Xiao Peng, Melody, into Natural. It's like, who's playing the top side of this map? DMO's faithful Gala and Mark have been there since the beginning in 2019 Sino Dragon. And so now on the Varus Time, Kench, can they help this team finally get some wins on the board? Or are Top Esports going to look to climb, finally as well, up the leaderboard?
DMO are going to rely heavily on Gala in this game, and that seems to be a lot of the way DMO play. You've got a laudable prompt burst that can come through with Xie and Melody, but your consistent damage in these team fights has to come from Gala. Now coming into this, I want to see Gala step up once again and perform for the DMO side. On the opposite side though, Top Esports AD carry has been standing up as well. Photic has looked much better from the first few weeks that we saw him after the break, and has been putting in performance on Callistas. Now we see him on the Misfortune again. The big question mark for me though is the support on Top Esports. How are they going to function? How is this going to set up for Photic's success?
But let's start a fight as Top Esports are looking to peek in and see if they can find anything on DMO. Because Chocho, to me, the more experienced support, has been keeping Photic in line. Maybe not technically within, you know, the lane itself, but just a more experienced support to balance on seems to be the right move for Top Esports.
Has helped out in previous sets. We saw him step in for the Invictus Gaming role, and now potentially coming in here to try and help out Photic one last time. I think with the Leona here as well, could go for some early plays down towards this bottom side. Mark, yes, has this Tam Kench to keep Gala safe, but the thing about Chocho is he can stun up Mark, and you've got enough burst damage between Misfortune and with Karsa on this Rexa.
Alright, currently getting shoved in what was, you know, Chocho used to be an 80 carry, so you got double 80 carry lane, I'm going to call it. But currently under turret as Gala and Mark hit 2 first. Karsa, however, towards the bottom side of Summoner's Rift. But Gala and Mark, an early roam up, it seems, just to get a bit of information. And a good ward on top of Karsa. Doesn't spot him out, but Karsa will be preparing for the next Scuttlecraft.
Yeah, both junglers have full cleared their top side, so have the opportunity if they want to split the map, but it looks like both of them are going to move to the opposite side. So now it opens up again for Karsa to look for this early gank towards 369, which has been the Top Esports speciality in these games. Oftentimes with Knight in coming with that roam, but not this time around, has the opportunity to just go for themselves.
Now let's take a bit of a step back because it does seem like a slower start to the game where junglers are just matching. If we talk about the speed of these two teams and how games normally go, well for DMO, Dagda, I know you were mentioning to me before we got into the studio at how slow they take their wins.
Yeah, they have the slowest win time in the LPL at 37.5 minutes. To give you an idea, some of our top teams are closing out in an average of 29 to 30 minutes. So this is a very slow-paced brawl from DMO to get across the finish line. Now it sits with where their wins have come from. It's been when Xiao Wei is on champions like the Cassiopeia, so scaling to that late game does work out, but it's more so that DMO have struggled when it comes to team fights to find the victories that should be theirs. But they'll need to do that this time around against Top Esports.
Oh, hang on, look at the top lane though. Melody's in a lot of trouble. 369 doesn't have lethal here, but a really good trade. While meanwhile, Karsa gives over his first blue of the game to Knight.
So this is where Top want to make sure Knight is able to push in against this lane. The thing about your jungle at the moment is that the buffs are nice, but they're not the end of the world. They give you less.
Oh no, hang on, Burst is there, Ignite down, Gala in a lot of trouble, has to flash away. Chocho wants to challenge him, but now Mark is left without an AD carry. Photic can follow this up a little bit longer. And Top with some really good trading to start off game 1.
That's exactly what we wanted to see from Photic and Chocho coming in. So now, with that bottom lane victory, they're set themselves up for success. Knight has been set up with this blue buff in the mid lane to push out Xie as well. It doesn't actually set Karsa behind because the most experience in jungle camps is on your Gromp and on the Krugs. So handing over that blue doesn't really matter too much for Karsa. And now in the top side of the map, 369 as well. Solo pressure onto Melody.
But let's shift attention here because what we just saw on screen was Photic and Chocho dominating Gala and Mark. They took a summoner each in a reply for their own, but the wave crashes in and Gala misses the majority of it. Now, Bless is still towards his bottom side, but Karsa is too. With the pressure from the bottom lane after the quick reset, it looks like for DMO, they want to challenge this first objective.
This is an interesting one. Mark doesn't have level 4 available, whereas Photic and Chocho do. But with Karsa, not quite in position here. Looks like the first dragon will go over.
But Knight has level 6. Even so, DMO get the objective, and Top Esports don't want to challenge. So, curious about the decision-making there. Knight instead just goes back to lane.
And they could have tried to threaten here. As you mentioned, level 6 hit for Knight very early after taking the experience from the blue buff. So miss it, pretty much hits it a good 20 seconds earlier than you usually would in that mid lane. But without the Karsa position, with Photic and Chocho having a back discrepancy, they don't want to go for that fight. You can see Vamceptor already picked up for Gala. So the raw stats that they would have had would have gone in favor of DMO.
Because the time walked out of lane from Photic and Chocho has reset the gold advantage back over to Gala and Mark. So at the end of the day, that back seems really not to have affected much. Bless still towards his bottom side. Level 5 on the Lee Sin. What's his experience? Well, it's not 6 worthy, that's for sure. He's got a Gromp to go to, so getting very close here for Bless in game 1.
Yeah, I'd imagine he's going to finish off this Gromp, move over to that red buff that is just spawning, and should hit that level 6 point at that stage. And this is where we'll see Bless starting to have more of an impact. Afraid to go toe-to-toe with Karsa just in these early stages, but now this level 6 point has been hit. This is where Lee Sin starts to win over because he's got so much burst potential with the kick Sonic Wave combo.
How does Bless play it though? Because Bless has not been the starting jungler for DMO. People remember last year, Itong was the Kindred jungler along with Kanavi. It wasn't Kanavi's pocket pick. Bless pretty much played it first. And outside of that, Itong didn't really come into the roster. It was mainly Xiaopeng on his Nidalee, which was his own little slice of paradise. As Exhaust comes out there from Knight in the mid lane, just to force away Xie. But Bless starting here in game 1, we talked about it moving into the game itself. There wants to be a change up for DMO. Looking at Melody, looking at Bless, bringing back in Xie. They're trying to find what works with this roster who already started the split 1 and 5.
And one of the things that we talked about off air was trying to go back to this sword and shield style. Having your tank in the top lane, the same as what was successful for them back in spring 2018. With Chang Hong playing these big, beefy top laners that allowed, well, Twyla back then, but Xiao Wei and Gala to free fire in these fights. Now we're seeing a similar style come in from Melody here. So how will this impact this team now? Especially when it's Xie in the mid lane. It's not Twyla on the supportive mid laners.
Yeah, further note on that as well, it was the Sion and Kai'Sa that really made this team famous and put them into playoffs in spring. And it was an impressive run. I mean, for a team that didn't even expect to get top 8, Sun and Dragon came up big as now it's going to be pretty much the start of this first game, I feel. Maybe the start of a fight. There's the connection onto Mark. Instant flash away. Top Esports are getting choked out, but DMO can't follow this, so that's a flash away from Mark, and Top want to do it all again.
Not a huge amount of mana on Knight, so Top need to make this fight happen soon, or all this free-firing spells could cost them.
I love that change.
You do. You really love that.
I love that change so much. How is that fair? Xie even gets the blue buff.
That's perfect from DMO, and this is something that was... we didn't think would have a major impact for Tam Kench, but the amount of evades it does.
What a Zenith Blade, though. Saved by Mark once again for the turnaround. Gala might actually have the damage onto Chocho here. A good flash just in time as both summoners burn here from the support from Top Esports. Photic now pushing up 1 versus 2 with low health bars on Gala and Mark.
If Photic wasn't quite able to get the damage he would have liked off, has gone for the cool, so isn't packing the same punch as... doesn't pack the same punch when you're going up against Gala's lifesteal.
True.
So they're able to turn that back around. And now with that trade, you're forcing both Photic and Chocho back as Gala is able to just farm himself up a nice little bit of health again using that FAM set.
But I believe Bless was spotted on the bottom side here. Top Esports just picking up their blue. Meanwhile, Karsa are going to be picking up this scuttle as well. Rift Herald right in front of them with a minute spawning on that Mountain Dragon bottom side. Karsa has a couple of options here. Through mid, through top. Ping's going in top, and Melody's at half health.
They're trying to make a play here. Look at where Chocho is. He's moved up from the bottom side. This is something that Top Esports like to do a lot.
All the Forge got onto Karsa. You can see the rest of DMO are coming up, and Mark, that's not him. It's Pop Blossom time. Onto 2. The knockup from On. The first blood onto Xie, and DMO, even after a good Solar Flare, are alive. Bless gets taken down, but 369 just takes too much damage too fast. And DMO as a 4-man group, yeah, they can flash on this because Chocho is not long for this world. As long as Gala can say, time to duel. Can we kill him?
Where's the piercing arrow?
Wasn't there in time. It doesn't get the stack of blight, so Chocho does get out, and a 1-for-2 trade sets DMO up first.
They do shut down the play around the Rift Herald, and this is how top esports like to accelerate their games. The funny thing is, though, they're starting to fall further behind as top esports have lost out in their games. We've seen the dominance they had over this top lane objective go from 72% down to 59%. Now if DMO can pick this one up, it's going to hurt that stat more. This, however, is a genius play coming through from Xie. Picking up as Mark, who you'd expect to be roaming across. They think that they're safe to go for this as top esports, not realizing it's the Nico, and it sets up for such a beautiful fight here.
I will say, Chocho getting a really nice solo flare, the only reason top felt like they got a trade in that fight. But for DMO, couldn't have been further from the point. Xie gets a beautiful Pop Blossom, gives himself first blood, and is pretty close to that Hextech GLP. We reset, we rejoin the map, and DMO have gotten their second elemental, while Casa, being spotted on this Rift Herald, is yet to take the buff.
You can see that there's the potential to throw it down in top lane as well. Look at how low that tower is, only 2 plates left. We've seen plenty of junglers just throw it even over the wall to just get that last little bit of turret plate.
And look at what's going on in the top. 369 is proxying while in the bottom lane. Bless has just been caught out. He was on a ward. Photic and Chocho get the easiest of kills. Even with the ultimate here from Gala, Photic can flash away and does. Chocho has his ignite soon, but gotta be careful. Stopwatch means Casa has time to get on in. Make it rain on top of Gala. He's slowed down. The Tahm Kench wants in, but that ain't the play either. Easy kill for Knight, and it's gonna be a dead mark soon. The thumbs up to show that you're the alpha.
And that was Karsa having the entire time to roam down from picking up that Rift Herald onto this play in the bottom side. That's how long DMO stuck around here. So Bless, Gala, Mark fallen right as we were starting to praise DMO and looking at them going well. It's not looking so hot now. Rift Herald popped on the bottom side as well to share the love when it comes to gold.
Well, that love all the way onto Photic, all his gold. In fact, no, Casa, because he did put it down, he was close enough. We'll share in some of the rewards as well. Photic, 530 gold on Misfortune. And this was such a good start for DMO. An early, bloody start in the top lane. But now with the Aatrox continuing to dominate with Rift Herald swiggity in that booty. A big 4K gold lead here for top at the 12-minute mark.
We said this is how top esports like to progress their leads. Using that Rift Herald, catching people out, a lot of gold going into the carries on the squad, and this time they've elected for Photic to take on that mantle. Has the Essence Reaver completed, nearly working through that cull as well. This is going to be Photic hitting this mid-game very quickly off of all this extra gold that we usually don't see Misfortunes picking up.
And while Gala and Mark trying to catch back up, they'll get this plate here with Bless in top lane, but look, Photic's going to come up. He has the bullet time in about 10 seconds, and Casa's shadowing him too, so DMO just can't trade back at this point, while the Aatrox now moves to the side lane, while turret plates are getting ready to fall, without DMO reaping its reward.
Both these mid laners have been relatively inactive though. We've seen Xie, yes, move up to Ooh, hang on.
Yeah, solo flare time onto Mark, but it followed over the wall from Chocho. He doesn't care, he'll walk away. DMO with 3 members strong here as Knight starts pressuring as well. And Mark caught out once again. His flash burnt off a cooldown twice now.
And right as I was about to say it, Knight does it. I wanted him to start moving out of this lane. He's got the push potential there to shove it in and start to make these roams happen. These sleepy trouble bubbles from downtown can be so difficult to deal with. Now Knight is moving out of lane, starting to get up towards this top side, work on these last remaining towers. Because pretty much the game plan from top esports here is get the 2 outer towers down and then look towards mid lane.
Save us, says DMO. Save us from 160 gold once again. Knight has been facilitated. Coming back to your point, even though there's not much turret gold on him, Knight's on Zoe. And Knight loves this pick more than anyone in the league. Even more than, you know, people like Xiaohu in the past, who's got some awesome triple paddle stars. Rookie was a very good Zoe. We're not going to see it here in this trade because it's just about Photic as Chains of Corruption does land. Gala trying to kite his way back. Sonic Wave doesn't connect, but a bit of poke damage from Gala as Mark joins the fight.
And now it's my turn to go back on your point, because looking at what
nuts.
Knight is building, he's actually going for the GLP here. So we're seeing a different style come out, but it works very well against what DMO is offering. Everyone on DMO wants to run at you. Melody, Xie in particular, and if you're going for this GLP style build, yes, you forgo some of that poke, but the big idea here is to slow down what DMO are trying to do, put some wrench into the works, and give the opportunity for Photic and Knight to disengage these fights when it all goes straight.
And he's been sitting on those components for a while as well, so after that turret going down, the global gold should give Knight more than enough that he needs. He's backing right now as well, so expect to see maybe components of the next item coming through too. And you're looking at items across the board. Black Cleaver completed there. It's actually a proto belt, so you know what that means. We got a Lost Chapter sitting there waiting for the Luden's Echo, so I like this. He had both the components. He got himself the extra auto damage that comes through from the revolver that no one really talks about, which is huge for Zoe due to her passive. And I guess we're going to see those two items coming really soon now.
So it looks like instead Knight is opting to just go, hey, if I can burst you out, we can't fight anyway. So looking for these poke around the big objectives like this dragon to make sure that DMO can't set up. If he can poke out Xie or Gala, this could be massive for Top Esports. You can see it already, just making sure that they're forcing DMO back into their side of the jungle.
Xie trying to be sneaky now, posing as Mark, but Caster and 369 right in front of the dragon. They started, but they're not committing. Look at what DMO are doing. 4 members strong in the mid lane. They're going to get the shove and try and cut them off. But is Dragon still going to be there? No, it's gone. Bless walks in, has to safeguard away. Knight says, it's me, baby, as Melody has to flash away from the Soul Flame. He misses the ulti. Now he's stuck out in no man's land as the bubble is right in front of him. He has to spend time to kite away. And Photic baiting in the Sonic Wave. He says, do it. Do it, Bless. I'm big.
Top Esports look to shove in this wave. 369 has already made his way down towards the bottom side.
Just Zoe things apparently. Gala eaten up just in the nick of time.
This is punishing play coming through from Top Esports. DMO would have loved to secure that objective for themselves because it would have set them up onto Soul Point, but this is how, again, Top Esports go focus on this top side, get themselves the Rift Herald, start cracking open these turrets, and use the extra gold they've gained to then fight for the Dragons before they become too much of an issue for them.
And the problem is they just keep picking up gold. Top Esports keep harassing these turrets, getting between side lanes. And look, Bless, there's nothing he can do. Knight all over Summoner's Rift right now, and it's only going to get worse. You know he has enough gold for that Luden's Echo next back. And with Rift Herald here, really good position for Top Esports to continue this snowball. They're 5,000 gold ahead at 18 minutes. They're making it look really easy, despite DMO's early first blood.
This gold lead is monstrous at this stage. We're only 18 minutes into the game, and to see a 5k gold lead is insane. Rift Herald will go over the way of Top Esports as well, which makes it far easier for them to crack open this last remaining outer turn in mid lane. And how do you try and then play out this game as DMO? You've got to be careful of Sleepy Trouble bubbles. Karsa is acting as this mobile ward for Knight as well.
Sorry to interrupt. Knight has just bought a Magi Soul Stealer off of a 2-stack Dark Seal.
My man. That's what I like to see. That's confidence coming through from Top Esports mid lane.
More than that, yeah. No, it's a little bit of something. He's thinking, all right.
Little bit of swagger.
It's going uphill from here. I mean, I was talking about it before, and we got interrupted by a fight, but Knight's priority on Zoe is amazing. He gets the respect ban from so many teams. And we've talked about it being a safe blind in the LPL, but it's just so good. He makes it look like it's a point and click, because speak of the devil, one ult misses, the other doesn't. The bullet time comes through onto Melody. Chocho runs on in, and Bless gets the remainder of the ultimate as in comes Caster and 369. That was the Zoe AoE. Mark's like, I'm here, I'm pretending to be a Tahm Kench, but you know that Mark's already flashed away. Caster's going to get slowed on down. Good tangle barbs here from Xie. Caster will get caught out. Good for DMO. Top still haven't picked up their killers. Bless with a kick flash to pick up Knight, but he's out, he's in, and he's back away until Xie says not today. Smacks him down, and DMO have won the fight for now until they get Xie in the end. An even trade, but for DMO, who was so far behind, that's not bad.
It could have been a lot better though. Very split calls coming through from DMO. They didn't know if they're going on to Chocho. Knight was there as well, caught up in the Call of the Forge God. And we'll get it now in just a moment on this replay. But strange fights coming through from DMO. It did work out for them, but still very chaotic, very all over the place.
But I like it. I mean, they're just slowly falling behind without a voice, without a word. Xie comes in with a very big moment onto Casa. Now, before we do see it, I gotta say, Bless impressed me for the first time in this game. That's all that matters. I want to be positive about DMO, and I think after that play you can be. Because that should never have been a fight that DMO could win. And Top Esports at this point in the game, remember, like, you got a Zoe with Majais. You've got yourself a almost Luden's Echo on him as well. You got a 2-item Aatrox. Like the Death Dance Black Cleaver before 20 minutes. That was completed ages ago. As well as the IE on Photic.
This is where Top Esports are going to hit hardest, though. As you said, 2 items coming through for the Misfortune. We're eventually waiting on that Luden's Echo, I'm assuming to be completed by that Forbidden Idol. And you've got the Death Dance and the Black Cleaver completed. So this is really where everyone on Top Esports is firing all cylinders. DMO are struggling a little bit, though. You have got the 2 crucial Glacial Augment items coming through for Xie, which can help in setting up for these team fights if the Twin Shadows can catch on to some crucial members. But you can see they're waiting on Melody here, who's off on the side. The Call of the Forge God available.
With ult available, and he's got his 2 upgraded items. He's hit level 13. Can DMO execute this one? Gala needs to hit ult, and he does. Who's it on to? Knight. That's the big one. They get the knock up as well, and Knight's dead. For DMO, they start this fight off right, and Caster's even low. Mark lives. Melody's so damn tanky, and Bless is like, I want to go back in. They can't kill Photic, but Melody's still very healthy, and that was just so nicely done for the team fighting team.
Bless has been brought over straight to the Dragon, so they will delay by 1 for Top Esports, but DMO will still manage to get themselves onto Soul Point, and that was a fantastic fight from DMO. The setup coming through on the Call of the Forge God was great. It had Xie there to peel for Gala in the backline as well, so the likes of 369 and Karsa couldn't threaten Varus in that fight.
You know what? Our replay observers have gone for a late lunch. They thought, nah, we don't need Top Esports to, we don't need to give them any more replays. They've won the game. That's what they thought. But DMO with some really good past couple of fights. And give it to Gala. That man started it all.
And this is exactly how DMO used to play back in their success days. It wasn't a hyper carry mid laner. It was something that enabled Gala. This is again what we're seeing with this Pop Blossom. It may not be a Zillion, it may not be a Lulu or a Karma, but still Nico fits that utility style mid laner. Big tank in the top lane. Gala onto something he can carry with. This is where DMO were strongest, and we're starting to see glimmers of that once again in this game.
It's a team fighting element for DMO that has always been their strongest, and recently they haven't been playing to that. DMO have been a team that have been shut out early and couldn't find their way back in. Now bringing Bless into this game after, yes, another early game where it felt like he was shut out and caught out. It's been a really good track of recovery. And even Melody in his debut game here is performing really, really well.
There was one mistake early, but since then, Melody has been pretty on point with the way that he's played this game. Is a level behind, but that's to be expected with the way that this matchup has been going. So now DMO will start to creep back in, getting control of these side waves, trying to set up for Baron. Although Top Esports want to get control back for themselves on this big objective.
You can see a couple of cheeky wards trying to slow this game down, because we didn't really talk about like the full-on composition and how this will roll. But on the side of DMO, like they've got an Ornn, and Ornn will always facilitate that gold gap. The fact that DMO are behind 6,000, okay, that's going to start mattering less. Melody's already got his 2 upgraded items, and 1 more level, he will start being able to give that over to the rest of DMO.
And it's really Gala that we have to pay attention to on DMO. We said already, look, Melody is a facilitator. Xie is a facilitator. Gala is where the big damage on this roster is going to come from. And right now, Gala's hitting his high points. Got that Gwinsu's Rage Blade completed. Can work up towards the wit's end if he wants to just provide a little bit of escape from the likes of this Zoe.
True.
or can even, if he wants to, just go, hey, look, I'm going to be free-firing onto Karsa, 369, and probably Chocho in these fights. So maybe Ruined Hurricane is the name of the game. Preferably, I think he should go with the Wits End.
Okay, there's the damage coming through, though, from DMO. Also, on that note of discussion, a lot of teams do pay the tax towards Zoe with the Mercurial Scimitar. So... Scimitar, what did I say? Scimitar.
Scimitar.
Like skim milk, yeah. Non-fat sword. I've been, I remember as a kid playing RuneScape, I called it a scimitar. I'm like, I see a C. It's skim. Scimitar. Oh no. Between you saying Orangine, me saying scimitar,
yeah,
we make a pair.
We're not going to get anywhere, no. What was the one you said earlier on?
Oh, Quinzus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, no, I got out of that habit.
Okay.
That was thanks to Preach It that I started calling it Quinzus. And yeah, we're not going to do that again. Ooh, cheeky push here from Top Esports, though, as Chocho actually might be called out. Tangle Bugs there, Sonic Wave available with the Resonating Strikers. Call the Forge God is a flank from Melody. He might have found the choke here, and onto Karsa he gets the knock-up. Has to flash away, though, because DMO are preoccupied with 369. The Chains of Corruption lands, and that slows down the fight, but 369 is a mighty Aatrox. And DMO, they lost their tank and they lost his summoners.
While Xie, though, playing off to the side here, still has Flash and the ultimate available. DMO did back away because of that TP, but 369, just like Melody, was forced out of the fight.
And it looks like when these fights go longer, like Top Esports played it just then, as, oh, stop it. Knight might be in a bit of trouble. Gets slowed down by Xie as well. Flashes away. Tried to get the cheeky pick on the Bless, and he was close, but now not worth.
Now, with this Dragon about to spawn in 40 seconds, though, Call of the Forge God should just about be back up as the World Ender will be. World Ender, though, is less effective if you don't have that flash in these fights. So Melody can still set up the same way that we saw for DMO, and Xie still has that big Pop Blossom available.
Knight without a flash as well, as we saw in that last trade here. Top trying to move into the river. Dragon in 15 seconds, and DMO want this Cloud Soul. You can imagine after the activation of ult for Xie, he chases you and it never ends.
So DMO should actually be pushing out mid lane here. If they're second to this fight, it works out a lot better for them because they don't have to worry too much about where Top Esports are placed. They got a nice setup for the Call of the Forge God. So right now, this is where Top Esports are at their most vulnerable because they're all grouped up and Melody's coming into the pit.
Dragon, but can they escape? Onto Melody now. The Zenith Blade does connect as Stoneplay's going to come through from Chocho. The ultimate cuts off the choke. That could have gone bad, but now the re-engage here from DMO as they look for Karsa. He flashes over the wall and almost dies anyway, but Photic gets the double up, and now Top Esports finally find their perfect fight. 369 accelerated with the help of Knight. Mark takes the burst, Gala gives him the heal, and that's all she wrote. But DMO back to the base.
Xie couldn't find a way into that fight, was zoned out by 369, actually forced a flash away before getting in. So this was essentially a 4 versus 5, and Melody just greeting for the kill onto Karsa, didn't send the Ram God's call into Photic to set up for the rest of DMO, and unfortunately means that DMO lose the fight, they lose the Dragon, and they've now lost Baron.
What a better game from Photic. The AD carry that sits at the very bottom of many lists of AD carries in the LPL for a good reason. I'm going to pause though. Gala and Mark say, let's go in. But is this the call? Baron already secured by Top Esports. Half their health, but Knight turns it around. Mark nowhere near the MR to deal with Knight. And they'll walk out for free. They'll secure the objective and the 10k gold lead at 28 minutes. Momentum back in the side of Top.
There was nothing left in the tank for DMO. They were hoping Xie could maybe approach the fight, disguised as that Tam Kench. But Top Esports have already been through this. They know what to expect from a Tam Kench walking into them in fights. So they back off, they go for the fight, they get the Baron instead. Now if Melody here had turned onto Photic, it sets up perfectly for Bless to follow up and they can try and burst down the AD carry. Will Photic being allowed to free fire the whole way through this fight and Xie not able to get in, Top Esports find an easy victory in this team fight.
And also the elements of the solo lane from Top Esports that are always so successful. In these fights, you have to look so many different directions if you're DMO. And what was some really good execution coming before, now just the simple gold lead, the ability to fight in this choke comes through massively for Top. I said it before, 10k gold up, that's only going to accelerate with Baron buff in hand, with everyone grouping around the bottom side. And with Karsa through the middle, the Rek'Sai's like, no, I'm sitting in my own lane. And he might be trying to find a flank onto the back and end game 1 here against DMO.
This is where it becomes so difficult for DMO to try and push these off. A lot of their members want to try and find flanks, the likes of Bless, the likes of Shie, but when they're forced back underneath their own structures, the opportunity to get these flanks doesn't work out, particularly when you've got to avoid bubbles from Nice. Every
which way but loose, apparently. Melody gets it off before he gets stunned by the Solar Flare. Chocho still perfectly healthy, though, as Casa is around that backside. 369 jumping in over to Gala. A good eat up here by Mark. The Zeke's convergence now procced here by the Tom Kench as the poke keeps coming out. They're going to deal with so many more Baron waves if DMO want to defend this.
Top Esports know they're okay to push forward here because there's no flash on Shie. This Nico can't surprise them with a big engage, and now the tower falls.
Into the inhibitor next. Flash available on Chocho, though. Watch this Leona, who's been performing consistently all game long. That's a Shie quote. Never fear. Top Esports are backing away from here with the inhibitor down. It looks like they're going to go back to base.
And a minute 30 on the Dragon as well. So this is perfect timing for them to go back to base, come out onto the map, set up vision. Well, I was going to say set up vision control. They've got that bottom side of the map littered with wards, but at least reinforce the control before that objective comes up.
Because so far this game, I mean, we haven't talked much about vision. I always get, you know, really excited for vision in my LPL games. And this game, like for DMO...
Sorry, that's what excites you in LPL?
Yeah, surprisingly, doesn't it? all my vision questions in the early game. Well, I like mind games, right? I like intelligence. You know, I try and exert some myself, but mainly I like the player's intelligence.
That's more apathetic style.
And this game has been pretty good for DMO on vision. I mean, like, a lot of teams in the past, let's use maybe LGD as an example, of the current Feature Gaming or past Feature Gamings, which we will see next series, where they've been really lazy with vision at some of these key moments. Now, for DMO, control around the Baron area that's spawning soon, clearing out some of the vision around Cloud so far against Top Esports. And even though they're in such a disadvantage, still trying to play around the gaps that they know Top Esports have.
The Top Esports don't have many gaps right now. Look at where the vision is. They've got wards completely in this top side jungle. This is what we're talking about, reinforcing the vision that they'd already set down. So DMO have already used sweepers. They've used control wards to get out the first round of wards, which means when Top are coming back from base with a brand new set of control wards, they're able to take over this jungle, and now they can spot any sort of movement from DMO. DMO know this. They give up the Dragon, put both teams on soul point, and now it's rinse and repeat for Top Esports moving over to this bar.
As a response play, they try to get to the top lane. Gala and Mark are here. Chains of Corruption available, but Gala doesn't have the range. 369 pops the World Ender, looking for the turnaround. Mark just out of range once again. Good ghost here from the side of Shie. Saves Bless. DMO now have to get out.
Carson Chocho forcing DMO back. Photic taking quite a few steps forward. That's a brave move,
Yeah,
Photic.
He's baiting Bless in. He's got the ult available. He's 2 levels up over Gala, and he's got 4 items now with the Mercurial Scimitar.
See, this is where the caster curse can be a little bit dicey. We've been praising Photic a lot this game, saying he's really stepped up. So now he's got to just get himself over the finish line. Don't ruin it.
But either way, look, he could power in towards his top lane turret. I'd still give him credit this game. It's probably one of the best performances we've seen out of Photic. And now with the rest of Top Esports, 4 members strong towards the top side. They've found Gala. Photic runs on in. Tanks turret for a little bit. Gala's out thanks to Mark, but Solar Flare down for Chocho. Bless wants to find that kick flash to try and bring the game back. There's the cleanse here onto Photic. The knockup goes over to Chocho, though. Knight zones him out with the Trouble Bubble, and Photic is safe for now. But look at the base. Aatrox is now punching through the mid lane as well.
Melody going to be locked up here by the Infernal Chains.
Gets pulled back. Now he's pretty damn tanky. How much time can he play with? Knight doesn't get the Purple Star. And the connection is Mark is here, but it's actually Shie once again. Doesn't find the Tangle Barbs onto Chocho. Yep, from all angles, Top Esports.
I don't know what Chocho said to DMO before this game, but Melody and Shie have got a bone to pick. Throwing everything at this support is not the way you're going to win these fights.
No, then Bless goes in once again, but this time it's onto Casa. The Trouble Bubble does connect. The ultimate comes through. Mark saves alive. Solar Flare onto 1 and 369 gets the reset. The AoE. Shie a little bit late with that one as Casa hits the back line, and DMO get hit so damn hard. Melody, the only one standing as Top Esports will find themselves an easy Game 1 win.
Glimmers of hope for DMO, but glimmers were all they were. Top Esports will pick up the first win of this series.
Will they kill Melody? I don't know. It takes a pretty long time. Okay, we're going to watch it all. Yep. Thank God no one wants to watch an Ornn, whether he's living or dying.